Yeah, how's it going, guys? So we are at, I think it's the 2nd today, isn't it? Yeah. October the 2nd. Let me get online here. October the 2nd, 8:24 p.m. So we will get on the California server. As far as I know, everything should be the same. I haven't heard anything else, so it was on earlier today. But so when you log on the server, you automatically go to this channel 0. I'm not a big fan of that, and there's a reason why. When you go on to channel 0, you're basically on a chat that everybody gets to see, no matter what channel they're on. And personally, I find it a pain. I always have. Mind you, I don't know if... See, a lot of people went through with TeamSpeak and they've communicated with TeamSpeak and they found it. And you know something? I'm okay with that until... I was always okay with chat and I could ignore it to a certain extent, but what happens is when things get busier and you are in the process... I'll give you an example here for a second now. I say this all the time, you got to know your audience. By that noise just yet. So, man, there's a lot of background noise everywhere. I don't know where it's quiet in here. Loud yard. That's just the way it is. Okay, that's a little better. So, you got to know your audience, first of all. And what I mean by know your audience is you got to know who's on at a given time. Right now, I've probably... it may get a little busier, although there's going to be a few key people watching some football game. And I'm kind of bugging them for that because I was watching a Jays game, but I think my game was more important. And but anyways, I don't know. Sunday night football is just kind of like Monday night football, I guess. Some people have to watch Monday night football even if it's not their team or something. I don't know. It gets the wildest ratings. I don't understand it. I'm like, it's hard enough for me to go through 3 hours of, and then 1 hour of post celebration and everything else with the Jays, but no, it's exciting. So the Jays are in the postseason, so that's cool. But anyways, right now, to know your audience right now, hey, look at that, I'm all by myself. So that's kind of cool, and I say that in a nice way. It's cool because I know I'm going to be fine as far as getting the work I need to get done. There's a reason why I say, you know, everything's fine. What normally happens is when I go on channel 0, I'll get the pleasantries. Everybody will see me, say hi, you say hi back, blah, blah, blah. And that's nice and everything. The problem with that is, let's say, for example, I'm in the middle of going through here, not through there. So I just announced there on the forum that what I was doing. But if I go in and I go through the registry now, and say I'm in here and I'm looking at what's going on in Barstow, for example. So I was here setting this up earlier this afternoon. And I only had a few hours before the game. I didn't know how much time I had because they changed all the baseball games today started at 3:05 to make it fair for everybody else. And I was like, what the heck's a 3:05 start? But really surprised me because I'm expecting the normal 1:05 start, and all of a sudden they're starting at 3:05 Eastern. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I thought, well, I might as well go on the server and get some work done or set it up and see where we're at. Now, because I'm in this screen right now, I mean, this alone, I mean, I can easily minimize out, and then if somebody's going with a message, and it's kind of cool because I can test this out now without freaking everybody out. So there I am right there. So you hear that beep and go boop. Anybody that sends a message, if I'm busy looking at screens here, and I'm trying, because I don't have two screens. I have my whole setup here. I got to go back and forth, and then I got to basically plan and look at, okay, well, this number of cars can fit here, whereas 37 cars, that might be pushing it. That's why I had to put red. I have to put comments. I have to update counts. I have to go back in, back out, back in, back out. So it's a constant back and forth. If all of a sudden right now I hear a bleep, bleep, I mean, I don't know if I don't know if they're chatting amongst themselves. I don't know if they're talking to me. I don't know what's going on. So I can ignore a little bit of it, because what'll happen is, as you can see, it's still here. Now, the other way I can ignore it totally is hit Control Tab. The only problem is then nobody's going to get a hold of me. So I prefer to be accessible, especially if somebody needs me for something that is important. And I want to stress what is and what isn't important. Number one, making sure that this gets set up is important, because I've got limited amount of time. I've got to get things set up at a certain amount of time. I'm taking the time right now. Things are fine. It's 8:30 p.m. at night. I've got 2.5 hours if I want to stretch it that long. If I take 105 minutes, subtract half an hour from it, that's giving me 75. So what I'm planning right now is to do a 75-minute run in trim. Now, what I mean by that, I'll get to that in a minute. I want to go through the communications part. So what happens is this. If you're going to, I can't prevent the pleasantries and all that other stuff and everything. I understand, everybody wants to say hi and all that. And I haven't mentioned this. I've tried not to mention this. I've tried not to mention this in the forum too much, because we got a new version coming out. I don't know how the chat system's going to be. There's also TeamSpeak. There's also other things. Who knows? There might be a whole new communication system. I have no idea. That's one of the things about version 2 that I really don't know. I know a lot about what's going to be in version 2 that I'm going to like. There are some things I'm just hoping is a little better, and the communication system's one of them. Because if I am in, I forget how, yeah, there we go. See how I just went to radio channel 1? So if I say hello in radio channel 1, you can't see that too well there, but see, now there's a 1 beside me. Now you can change this in the cab. I just hit Control Y. Oops, you have to hit Tab again just to get out of that chat thing, but now I'm back to 0 by hitting Control T. So Control Y, Control T allows you to go up and down the various channels, or you can set them in the cab. When you're in the engines, you just go over to the radio, you hit channel, and you type in the channel number. If you're in chat, though, Control Y and Control T allows you to go in, and it'll tell you which ones. You can hit Control Y a few times, see? And then you can go back the other way. I don't know what happens if you go beyond 0. Oh, you stay 0, so you have to go all the way. I don't know how many channels there are, but see, I went up to 12 there. So right now we really don't have any assigned channels in California. Great, I got a dog barking upstairs for some reason. But anyways, what else is new? Anytime I try to do one of these, I get a dog barking. I don't know if I'm the one causing the dog barking or what, but I'm just, it's one of those things. So, and it's quite. I don't know if I spook them out or not, because it's very quiet down here. I'm not here with anybody, so I'm not talking half the time. So I don't know if they get all of a sudden they hear voices. But yeah, anyways, enough about the dogs. So I've got channel 0 set up, and so that's fine. Everybody comes on. Like I said before, though, if you're going to, number one, if you're going to get into anything that's non-prototypical, especially when people are on who are yard masters or who are doing potentially something off the server, on the server but off the server, like basically what happens is they could be assigning tags, they could be doing all kinds of things. You're going to want to go to another channel. And the reason why you want to go to another channel is so that you're not interfering with any communication on that main channel. Unfortunately, I can't lock out channel 0 if I go to these other channels. So unfortunately, channel 0 has to be the channel used for main communication right now, because if you go to another channel, all of a sudden you get all the zeros, and we really haven't assigned a lobby channel or anything like that. And I don't think we need to do that just yet. But it's going to get really busy. When version 2 hits here, and we got AI, it's going to get busier because more people are going to be online, and I can see some issues coming up with this, especially right now when we only have a few people on, and it's already becoming aggravating. So I just want to make sure that I'm kind of clear about that. I also want to make sure that people understand the procedures, like really understand them, as far as I know there was questions, and like I said, a lot of questions come up in chat. I've posted about this before. I, I can write a procedure for everything. I could keep writing procedures and writing procedures and writing procedures, or I could just stop at a certain time and say, okay, there comes a point where I don't know I don't want to use the word common sense, because that's kind of offensive, and I don't want to be offensive. I want to help people. If you're good, or we want to be able to help people and work with people, but we also want to, you know, we want to give. I certainly want to make sure that people understand that we're here to help, and especially if you're not purposely trying to be disruptive, then we'll work with you, and we'll get it figured out. We're not here to ban people or make this private or anything like that at this point. We need more crews, we need more yard crews. Even with version 2 coming, we certainly want to have the ability to have more people involved. So we're certainly not trying to restrict anybody. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. So, but certain things do get on my nerves. I get certain Facebook posts, why don't I have access? Well, because you didn't read. Why am I, banned from this server, or this server's not letting me on, or stuff like that. It's just a question of communication, and there's a way to communicate. Some people post on the Wikia walls. I get this all the time. People are posting on the Wikia walls and think it's private conversations, and they're leaving emails and phone numbers and all kinds of crazy things. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? There's no private messages on the Wikia. You get an email message after you apply for membership with the password. Well, send an email back to that person, and then that's one of the admins, and then they will be able to, if you have questions or whatever, they'll be able to answer or forward you to proper people that can help you. And if you have any other questions that you don't want to make private, and there's certainly the general forums, there's questions and answers forums, there's all kinds of things. Just take your time with this. Don't rush to try to do too much too soon, because if you push yourself too quick and you try to do too much too soon and get yourself into situations, it can really make things a lot more difficult and aggravating. And I mean, people make mistakes, that's fine, I ain't worried about that. It's the question of, take things a little at a time. Certain power is set up a certain way, certain trains are set up a certain way. There are situations that may require extra power or light power moves, or there are situations which may require special switching, but everything's within the procedures. But if you don't understand something, if you think you got something you don't understand, you don't see a release, or you don't understand what this is about, just ask the questions first. But anyways, that's all I want to talk about that, because I don't want to drag that on too much. So looking at that here, seeing the trim set up now. I'm not 100% sure. Control F8. Somebody asked me this the other day. That's just so you can get your tags, so you can see what's going on. Alright, Old Yard is pretty much as it is. Now we do have some time available before the next hump. So let me go through that first, just to see a game plan here. So far right now we're not actually taking any active time. I'm just going on the Yardmaster idea. If you're someone who has the time available, what's happening here is, and there was basically, I posted all the details this afternoon if anybody was interested in it, and it tells you basically everything that I'll tell you right here, or why it's within a certain way, I guess you would say it. So you go on to there and find out what's happening. So yeah, oh sorry, I go to the sheet here. So what's happened here? Today is October 2nd, and at midnight this train became arrival released, which is under the available tab. Now this is something that's going to change in version 2, because once you get AI trains, it could change in a lot of ways, because we're not 100% too sure yet if we have enough yard crews to warrant that many trains to be running. We may have to reduce the frequency of manifests for California. But we'll wait and see how it goes. We're going to try it. Right now, we run 4 weeks of yard operations and everything else to get one 24-hour period. We are actually pushing. There was a push apparently. Somebody told me, actually it was Mike the other day, said that I originally planned for 48 hours. We're kind of, he's pushing for actually less. Actually, he's pushing for less than what I originally, for some reason I thought it was 36. He was saying, what the heck was he saying? He was saying go for 24 hours. I'm not 100% too sure. I'm okay with it, but I don't know if everybody else is going to be. I guess the push is, what they're looking for now is to do 6 hours on a Sunday, and 6 hours 3 other days of the week, while running, I believe it was going to be, yeah, we were going to run them in towards the evenings, because that is where most people are running. Now, unfortunately, one of the guys who wants to dispatch the most is in the daytime. Now, you hear that beep right there? That means somebody just came on channel 0. So this is what Matthews just came on, and this is what happens. So if I'm doing anything else, that's where I'll go in. Now, you log in, that does a beep automatically. So it's not people's fault. It just, that's the way it is. But if I hear a bunch of beeps, then I'm going to potentially go out of chat just to see what's going on, if there's anything that needs my attention or whatever. So that's the way that's working. And the only way I can shut it off is I can just hit Control Tab and go into my own world, and I can do that. There's no reason why I need to be, as far as that goes. So that's fine. As far as I know, once I Control Tab, yeah, that's right. If I was to Control Tab, I'll show you an example right there. That disappears. The only way to bring it up again is to hit Tab, and you notice the chat comes back. So if you're ever wondering if it gets quiet, you may have actually accidentally hit Control Tab and you've lost all the chat. That's the reason why you've hit Control Tab instead of Tab. Control Tab is an ignore chat feature. I wish it was more, like I said, I wish it was more advanced to do different things. Like, for example, maybe put something in there that doesn't beep when channel 0 makes a comment or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I just don't know what. I mean, there's so many different. I don't even think there's an option to turn that off. But that's the only option I know of is Control Tab. So that's how that works. Okay, so let me go back to. I'm not too sure where I was. See, that just totally throws me off, and it's nobody's fault. Everybody logs in and off on the server all the time, so it's, you know, it's just the way it is. So where was I? I forget now. So that just totally threw. Maybe I should have just Control Tabbed and got out of it for now. But anyways, That's why I was saying, oh yeah, it's good. It's quiet. I can do this and everything's fine. But I don't know where I was. I totally lost my train of thought on that. So yeah, version two. Once version two comes into play, you're going to have these AI. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We were talking about the amount of time. What we're looking at possibly doing. We have a dispatcher that is willing to work weekdays, all weekdays, like 12 hours worth. Well, the problem with that is we don't have enough yard people to do the yards for that long. Not to mention is we don't have that much activity going on in the daytime anyways. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. First, this was Mike's with California as far as the owner, so it's ultimately his call, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with going less hours. I'm actually perfectly fine with that. It gives everybody less opportunity to run, and I don't know how well. I recommended that he post that suggestion, or post not the suggestion. It's his server, but basically, I'll post suggestions too. Even if it's whether it be my server or or whatever, or my ideas, I will post suggestions, even if I'm a server owner, just to throw that out there and see what people say. But I can tell you right now, the less you take away from people, the more they're going to be concerned. But at the same time, you have only so much time. So, let me see where we're going to go here, because now my throat's getting dry and I should have grabbed a snack beforehand, but I decided to hold off. So we've got this lined up. Here's what happens. Because October 2nd at midnight came along, and like I said, once version 2 happens, things will be happening a lot quicker. They won't be these arrival releases. Everything will be paused. If it's not running with a dispatcher under anarchy conditions where all the AI trains are running and hopefully there's crews going, so this will all be live. There'll be a yard master, there'll be crews, there'll be everything. I don't know how that's all going to work, to be quite honest. We'll see. But when there's not a dispatcher, this will be when the quiet times are there to catch up. But these will probably still be in place as to when it does become available. So there'll be a time where that train came in. We'll log when the train arrived, I guess. I don't know. We haven't figured out that far yet. But anyways, we calculate here when the train is originally released, and there's all kinds of things going into version 2. We already know that there's going to be delays. There's going to be some really cool stuff. Program delays that come in, so it spawns in a little bit later sometimes, so it varies things up, which I really like. But so October 2nd at midnight, so that was midnight today. What happens is right now, because we're in our 48-day cycle, you divide 24 hours by 48, you get 30 minutes a day out of the cycle. And if you look at what time we are in the cycle right now, this is the actual let me see. Server time should be 8:47. This was coming in at about 20 minutes ago, so I'll do a refresh. But as you can see, we're at 125.35, but I'm doing a refresh, and now it's gone to 121.50. Is that right? No. It's still refreshing. It's not 27. There it goes. There we go. So we're at 126 and 0 seconds. And that's 16:47 or 4:47 is the actual server time on the clock, and it's 20:47 Eastern. Everything is running off of Eastern time as far as the when it says midnight, it means it arrived at midnight Eastern. Eventually, like I said, this was going to start pausing when AI, but we'll get into that eventually, and we'll figure that out once we know what version 2 is and when it's coming and how we're going to set it up. We'll deal with that. A lot's going to change, but for now I just mention all that because we don't know when version 2 is coming for sure. So, but it's 1:26 p.m. So what that means is that train was actually arrived. That's 1:26 p.m. in the cycle. It actually arrived at 1 p.m. And I can know because everything goes into 30-minute bites. So we are at 8:48 p.m. Eastern right now, which means we got about 4 minutes till midnight at that time. Because what happens is everything runs at a 1 to 48 slow speed. So it's going to take the rest of the evening until midnight to run 4 minutes. So that's why when a train gets released, and it arrived way back on September 25th, well, those trains are, that's basically, I don't know, 7 days of running, and it got there, so it's been sitting in the arrival yard for such that long of a time. So it's been sitting there, and what we do is at every 24 hours, this will update. There's some manual updates in here. I made it a manual adjustment earlier today to bring the hump time down to 30 because that's all there is. That's the only train that's left to hump, so we only get 30 minutes to hump for today. Technically, we only have 26 or whatever the heck minutes it is, but I left it at 30, figuring, okay, I'll give it the full day. That's fine. So give it a 30 minutes, and even if it goes over, it's no big deal because when you look at what's coming up, the next arrival releases the 10th. So once again, this back on the 27th, this train actually arrived, but it's going all the way to October 10th. So it was like, I don't know how many days is that. That's been well over a week. So that's just how long it calculates, whether it be 8 hours or whatever the heck it is. I think it's about 6, 7, 8, I don't know, 7 hours or something like that of the actual system time that goes through, or the cycle time. Other ones are, coming up to the 14th, 15th, 18th. I don't even know if that train's going to be running, considering it's not even on the system, so I don't know if that Tulbar train runs today or not. It doesn't tell you what frequency of what trains have run today or whatever, and then we're getting into the end of next. Some of this stuff was already in previous cycles, so that just has to get filtered out, but that's other things we got to deal with too, is the filtering out and going in between. There's a lot of admin stuff in behind. So this is why behind the scenes you got the work going on here, then going in between and back out. So that's why that's all in there. So let's see here. We don't have to worry about the humping. The only other trimming that's been set up at the moment is to get this train going. As you can see, there's nothing here. There's no cars that are set to hump for pass. These are the cars that are set to go into other tracks like 106, which, okay, I put it here. I put that red. Bell and Stowe repeat because there's 2 trains a day, but this is the next one. I have some tags for Cadiz that I have to do on the admin side later on. As you can see, this was updated October the 2nd, which was earlier today. My initials, October 2nd, I said see forum post for more. So 2 or 3 crew can hump. We've got myself right now, which is, I'm going to run this clock out. What you're seeing there, the reason why it's 105 is that's time that, and this was adjusted actually because, sorry, the boron was adjusted because boron was never used. There was actually 135 or something like minutes. I adjusted this evenly. So far we haven't been using the boron time, but this runs it back up. What's happening there is, because like I said, it's 30 minutes a day, what you're seeing is there's been trim available for 3 days and it hasn't been used. So now, actually just a little over 3 days. So now that time is available. And see, these are situations where, because there is no humping available until at least first thing midnight today, then what's happening is all that time left over trim can work on, and there is stuff for trim to work on. So I definitely have some stuff to work on. I have to decide on a train. I'm going to start this at 9 o'clock Eastern. It's 8:53 right now. So what I will do is I will get myself into the engine. I'll get myself into the engine. I'm going to go grab a drink. So looking like we got a little bit of switching going on here. So you can basically, I can finish up this switching. Unfortunately, these cars should have never been that close, but they were. I don't know if they rolled or what happened, but they shouldn't be that close. So I'll fix that later. But I'll pull that string out and then I'll deal with that. Lone Pine, I understand those. That's the head end. I think that I saw the instructions that were showing that. There's a lot of other stuff. If there was two crews, then the hump could switch the other end, but I can also work this end just fine. It's sometimes easier for the trim to go through and work the other end, which is something I actually might do, depending. I'll see how it goes. So for now, I'm gonna set up myself into the engine here for a few minutes and go grab a drink. Back in a minute, grab myself a drink, maybe a snack, I don't know, something. And then we'll start right at the top of the hour. Grab some cereal bars too. Should keep me going for the next whatever the heck time I have. What time do I have again? 95, 85, 75. So that puts me all the way to 10:15. So that's good. All right. So I'm posting a message. Actually, I don't know if this will work. Now here's a little trick I'll show you. Starting trim. Bet you this won't work. It might. Oh, it did. If it doesn't work, what happens is if you have the thread open for too long, you have to hit the refresh button before you're able to post. So that's what that's all about. But anyways, all I'm doing there is announcing what I'm doing, which is good practice to do on the forum. You don't have to do it in the actual server itself. I'm so used to typing in just my letter and then I can get my right over. My name would come up. What the heck am I in here? Okay, never mind. I'm losing my mind. So let's put W for work. There we go. And of course we are Barstow switching district. And put a 0 there for now. We plan on doing an hour 15. We might do less. We'll see what happens. So I really don't have to look at that too much other than knowing that 108 is the other one. But for now, I'm going to leave it alone because really there's nothing else here. I'm just going to be working this part of the yard here. So that's all set up. I'm waiting for the top of the hour now. It doesn't have to be exact. The whole idea again is to give to make things basically number one not too easy by just switching whenever people feel like then the yard gets too much is done. Trackage I have here, but I'll put him here anyways. Shift 1 to place my guy there. Watch the speed going this way. 10-mile-an-hour limit. It can creep up on you real quick. Some dynamics going. One quick check to see where I am here. We're all good there. I'm going to ignore the fact that the cars are already through each other. I'm not going to worry about that for now. So what I'm doing is I don't like switching from this end if I don't have to. If it's a quick thing, then that's different. Like if it's a quick couple of moves, then I will switch from this end. And of course everything is always under authority of a yardmaster. The yardmaster will grant the authority. Because I am a yardmaster, I guess founder, admin, whatever my title is these days, you know, I've already set up the instructions and I can change them on the fly as well. If you're not a yardmaster and there's not a yardmaster around, then you really don't have any authority to change things. What that means is if you have power assigned to you, you have to get somebody, admin or yardmaster, for approval as far as changing anything. Be it the power of a train, anything. You're basically set with your instructions, and there's a lot of freedom. I mean, as long as you're following within the instructions. The instructions for working here was just, you have this many minutes, go at it. Then, well, that's fine. That's how many minutes you have. There's no real... And I kind of did that tonight because I knew I'd be around at some point, so... If somebody uses it all, it's the end of the world, because it's going to get quiet in here anyways. Barstow, actually. Things are going to get quiet. Alright. So... So we got Lone Pine here. I'm going to go ahead and Set myself up to come down. Now the beauty about starting on the top of an hour, it's easy to calculate how much time you have. So yeah, this week's an interesting week for me. Actually, tomorrow I got some time if everything goes okay, but I really don't need it. Other than maybe some more setup, I don't know yet. Tuesday, forget about it. I know where I'm going to be Tuesday. I'm not going to be here. Version 2 comes out, well, I got an important decision to make, but if I'm lucky, I'll come out tomorrow night. And I'll get a chance to play with it. I don't even worry about the server at that point. So we got Bakersfield in the first 2 tracks. I think we got some here too. Oops, I wasn't paying attention. Wow, that's a lot. Oh, I got some boron cars here with me too, don't I? Which is okay because what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring these cars down to this end anyways, but I don't want to ride it actually. I want to see where I am here. Well, I might be out of luck. Like I've said before, I wish you could ride on one end and then switch to the other, but it just don't work that way, so. So everything Bakersfield is set up. I gotta do a pull for here just to back up on the fouling. now it's a matter of I've got my set track there. I know track 1 is also set, although I have to pull it forward a little bit. Now I got the Barstows. So I'm kind of getting an idea. I may not have to do too much, but then there's Kearns at the end. So we've got some Barstows. Lots of Kearns still. SJVR. Some Kearns and SJVRs, they're going to Bakersfield. And then the box cars so far are heading back through. The 770 Lone Pine, that is the block that goes on the head end for, what do you call it? 770 at Lone Pine that goes on the block of the head end for Bakersfield, but it's the Mojave block. So that's what gets set off. We leave that on the head end. For a second, see what we got going on here. Vancouver on that end is okay, but I still have to pull it forward. It's too tight. That's nice. okay there. Just gonna let that come ahead a bit. There we go. Slack's good. Right now, you're working in history now. You're not working in the present because that's just the way it is. If, when in version 2, and there's a yard position that's not filled during the session, there will still be that working in history thing going on, except everything else on the line, the main line, will be frozen. Allow the yard crews to catch up. The main line will be where the main lines are, and then we'll just be catching up. Once we know that we have enough crews, that's when we can increase dispatching and be able to provide more opportunity. But until that time happens, just trying to think how far we got cars here. Jump over for a second. Analyze the situation here again. Got all Bakersfield up there. Oh wow, I got Lone Pine and Meg. I got a Lone Pine at that end too. That sucks. Sucks at the Lone Pines at that end, and the rest of it as well. because then I'm gonna have to pull that whole string now. The problem is I've got these guys floated at the wrong end, so I'm gonna have to shove it down. No, that's okay. I'm definitely gonna have to shove it down. I was hoping to make a block stop at the other end, but that ain't gonna work, so let's just run it out. One thing I'm hoping to see is a counter that shows up on this display here. I know you can set it actually. You know something? There's a way to change this. Maybe I'll try that. I just thought of that right now. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I know there's a setting. Okay, I'm gonna try that. I just changed it to distance counter. Normally I got it set for speed, but I'm gonna. So I got the rail driver, so I'm gonna try. Ooh, that's cool. You know, I always knew it was there, but I've always relied more on speed than that, but for switching at this end, that really makes it good. What happens there is it actually allows my counter to go on the display, so that's a big bonus. I believe my conductor I have set at that end. If not, I'll do it like in there anyways, but so that'll work out. Going in, but it's going the wrong direction. I don't know if that's all because I'm going backwards. I can't. It's going forwards from 64. Length of the train. Alright, I can do it that way, I suppose. I don't know. But it's not working the way I was hoping it was going to work because it's counting up. I tried pushing it to count down, but is this something? I don't quite understand how it works. Sweet. There we go. You guys don't see any of that, but I do. So that's. Because of the direction I'm headed. Had I been in the engine to begin with, on this side, if I had changed sides, I think it would have been fine. Which I could have done. Because I'm in the other engine. So I'm going to have to shove this down to the other end. Change ends, but I'll see. 929, I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, actually. So that's good. I didn't want to go out of the ladder just yet until I saw what was going on. Still got a bit of room there, but I don't know if we're going to need it. There's room for about a car or so. Might be able to put the head in there, but I don't know. I think we got like 4 cars, so I don't think that's going to work now. But we'll see. Oops, going too fast. Yeah, well. Yeah, no, it was bad. Okay. I don't have much room now. Oh wow, that's really tight. Not as bad as it was, but it's still tight. Okay. Now the reason why I switch ends is because, I've mentioned this before, the hill goes this way. The only problem with that is you use the hill to your advantage, but the problem is the cars really start rolling without brakemen. And then the brakes are either full set or full release instead of gradual, like a turn, which is what I would prefer, but so often I'll have cars just slam into each other because of that. modeler's license. So it's 9:34. I've got a little over an hour. If I don't get to that one trim, that doesn't matter. In fact, I don't even have to get all of this trimming done in local yard, but it should be okay for time. The kicking speeds it up. Switching ends, you know, it depends. If it's only a few things, then it's not worth switching ends for. But in this situation, I'll be able to quickly go through this, hopefully. I'm giving a little bit of space, actually. I don't have to, but the reason why I'm giving it a little bit of space is because I know how this will sometimes run into problems. Let's set the brakes at that end. Well, that's going to be easy. So we're going to actually have a pretty big train by the looks of it. It's already got 2 tracks full. I've got Lone Pine cars there. Okay, let me just change that for a second here. Okay, good. Well, this ain't going to take long at all now because I'm actually got 2 tracks full, which is okay. I got the room. I just have to play around here. So that's okay. We're all set on the other end now. Now, in theory, I could run this all the way to Old Yard. It's been done, but by rights it should be with a... You gotta make sure all the switches are lined, but it can be done. You can actually throw cars all the way from here to into Old Yard, all the way to the East End, actually. We've done it. I'm not going to do that tonight. So, we're set now. This actually won't take too long at all, as I was saying. So I should be going up the hill here. Might have to give it a little bit extra. Okay. So I'll try to keep an eye on those cars. I gotta grab this lone pine here. Cars are really taking off. I'm going to have to set the brakes or something on those before they roll out all the way to the other end, which they probably will. No natural roll here. Oh boy, too fast. Yeah, see, they're going faster than me at the moment. So what happens is, if you're riding it, then you set your handbrake. Now release it. See? So you give it a little bit of a nudge. But you really need an actual second crew member in there. You could even go so far, I think you can ride this. I'm not too sure if I can ride it. Probably not. Oh, I surprised myself, I can. But I don't know if I can do this. Okay, I can actually. I know how to do it now. But I'm almost out of space, so... You can set up the window. But anyways, I'll just set the handbrakes. Doesn't matter where. Here's fine. Doesn't need to go all the way to the end. There we go. So it just established itself there. Now you don't want to shove the cars too fast into there. Now I don't have much cars to work with. This is, like I said, it's not going to take long at all. What I will do, let me take a look at the schedule. This is more of a Yardmaster function, but we're already at a point right now where I can actually almost... Are we at 1400? We're coming up to it, and there's nothing... Actually, this is going to be it. And the reason why I say that is because now we're getting to a point where I've got to figure out... I've got cars for the Mojave block for the other end. But this is okay here. Put back in reverse. Oops, I forgot to hit the bleed the cars and then put it back into the thing there. So what I'm doing is I got room for at least one Lone Pine car to sit over here without interrupting the flow there. I do have some room. I'm not worried about it at this point. All I'm doing now at the here, actually, I got room in a lot of spots for this. Actually, I can put it right in front of this current Hondo, to be honest, and it wouldn't matter. And I'm not kicking the cars either. I'm just going to set this car off, because I think it's the only other one. I have Mojave stuff at the other end. Doesn't matter what track I put it in, to be quite honest. I can put it at the top track, bottom track, it doesn't matter. I'm just keeping this out of the way for now. Track 1 and 2 are set. It's going to be a fairly long train for going to Bakersfield this time. Usually it doesn't go beyond 2. And in this case it's going to, so that's okay. So I'm going to try not to connect here. I just want to get it in here. A little bit more. Stop there. There. So I got a half an hour left of available solo time, as I would like to call it. And what that half hour is basically it puts the clock to even so that the hump and trim can work together. It's not really that apparent or necessary because then there's a lull. But it at least sets up for today's hump or the next, the one that's available for today, and then it sets everything up for beyond that. We've been finding that when things are really working efficiently, that there's still plenty of crew time available. So things are working fine in that aspect. So yeah, we're going to be going through three tracks here. Now I was hoping to have the one track to do a run around, but that's okay. It's not that urgent. So I've got I just want to double check, I got 4 set, 3 hasn't been set yet. The good part is I already know by looking at how many cars are left over. There's a few there. I really don't have to go far in my setting here. So once I've actually rolled the cars here, I can crank it a little bit, but I don't really have to. So everything's going to be run from this spot here. The problem is you're going up a hill up to this point, so you gotta set your coupler here, or your pin here, I should say. You don't want to set it on going down, or else it's going to pull off right away. Alright. Just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction. Forwards, yeah. So I'm going to let that roll for a bit and just keep on going. We got Barstow here. I can go ahead and set the handbrakes here. Let it come to a stop. That one should come to a stop now. Yep, it just did. Okay, I'm going to make sure my switches are set. This one's going to roll through. Potentially roll through once it smashes into it. And we gotta keep an eye on that, because what happens is it's gonna smash at too much of a coupling speed. I'm going to assume that there's guys at the other end to control it, but it will smash. So we don't want to do that. Likewise, Kern Frieda will do the same way, but we will watch it. We got a few to do there, so. Coming to break that couple pretty soon. Might have to watch it. This is what I mean when it comes too quick. It gets nasty, yeah. So I'll just slow it down a bit. There we go. There, I slowed it down enough, which it should be okay. Did fine. We'll see what that one does. That's going to be too quick, but that's okay. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, Hills Brothers. Cool. Set that right down, and then the rest is just the head end. I'll show you what I mean, huh? Did it just connect? Okay, it did fine, so that's good. We're good. That makes things better. Yeah, a little slower than I wanted to do it. I wanted to make sure it made it over the hill, so see, that's a little slower, but that's okay. As long as it keeps rolling. It's going downhill now, so it's going at a nice speed. I was saying, it wasn't too much cars to go over, but that's okay. That'll just bang into it at a pretty good rate of speed. Sometimes it pushes it and it keeps rolling for a while. But there it stops, so that's good. Okay, now I'm grabbing that last car and then I'm going to head on over to Old Yard. Set up for Bakersfield. like everything is good now. Well, I don't have any Bakersfields in there, do I? I thought I had a Bakersfield for a second. That's not a good sign. I know we were going to bring some Bakersfield cars, but I don't know if we ever did. That's the other concern I have now that I think about it. I know there was talk about it at one time. That could be why the train's actually longer too, because we did assign some. I thought we had some box cars or something that were going to Bakersfield. So we got that other Vancouver car in there. That could stay with it and get switched out. So we got some Barstows. Did we? I thought we had some reefers or something. Well, okay, that's it. Yeah, so we had the reefers and some box cars. Okay, so we're good. I think everything else looks okay. Those are all current acids. That's good. Empty acid. We are all set to head back. Shove this into Old Yard. And then we might have just enough time to get back and then even out our time. So it's looking good. Just like that, that's basically with the kicking, that's all there is to it. I could have done it all from the other end. I probably would have had a little bit more time, but I figured, why not? You never know. When I was originally thinking of it, I thought to myself, yeah, it's going to take pulling a whole string of cars, and then, they're going to do too much, but that actually worked out a lot better. This actually is something the hump can do when they're down. So, in theory, I know I took away a lot of time from the hump, but in theory, the hump power, it's actually more convenient for the hump power to come over and do this side. But the trim had nothing else other than we have a Cadiz train that's overdue, but I have some other stuff that's overdue as well. I don't think I'm going to get to it tonight. That's your whole head end block right there, that 770 or Lone Pine. That works out perfect. Well, that didn't connect, did it? How did that happen? I hope I didn't lose any cars. I'm surprised it stopped. That's a little concerning me. When I see that, that concerns me. I'll tell you why in a second. So this is gonna go. Don't worry about that. See that little shake and bake thing? That seems to happen when you connect cars really quick. Sometimes you break a coupler just by connecting really slow. It's really weird. It's almost like you have all that tension built up, and then all of a sudden it just says, hey, I'm going to release it all now because I didn't have a chance to before because for some reason, I don't know. That's just my theory. I don't know. Computer programs do weird stuff. So, yeah, we got less than 15 minutes here, so we're not going to have too long. I just want to check and see if there's anything weird going on down here. I see a car here. I think that was already there, so I don't think anything rolled out of the yard. If it did, I'm gonna have to find out where it would have rolled to. At the moment, I think we're okay. But let me check the switches to make sure. If it did, it would have gone. I'm going to flick this switch right now to get us over to Old Yard. But it would have stayed in the middle. It would have gone back out onto the main line. And it would have eventually come down this way somewhere. Not that Barstow car either. That's weird how the Barstow car I left. I think I did that on purpose or on accident or whatever. So that would have been out into the main line by now. Would it be there? No, I think that's a train. So I ain't gonna worry about it. So now, decision time. I'm going way too fast. I'm not paying attention. I've got 10 minutes. Because I'm going downhill, the speed control's not going to work too well. Well, Cadiz is going to be next on the block. Yeah, the speed control's not. So I definitely have to get myself into position. At the same time, you have to be available for the hump. So it's one of those things where, or at least I'm going to set myself up to get into that yard. Now, the other thing that is available is there is the boron crew, which is sitting there. We've been just adjusting his time, and I'm actually going to adjust his time again. We haven't been using any of the boron crew's time coming back from the boron local. And you might have briefly saw the powers sitting here. What that was originally there was we used to have, we used to get into a situation where we could use the extra stuff going on. And I don't know. I gotta take a look at the Barstow. I saw a picture the other day around this hill here or something. I'm curious now. What did I see the other day? I gotta take a look at that picture again. Now I'm curious. It was a grainy picture of version 2, and it showed the bridges in the background, and it was kind of dark or something. I couldn't tell what it was exactly, but I'm really curious what this side of the yard is going to be like in version 2. I've already seen what looks to be scenery, but I'm more curious if the track work has changed. But it's no big deal. Whatever it is, I'll take whatever they can do at this point. So what I want to do is I want to clear the switch and get myself into the actual old yard here, or at least the old yard lead. I don't know how much room I have at the moment. I'm not worried about the track, I just want to get down there at least. Where is that power? I saw it there and I don't know. Yeah, whenever you bring back boron power, don't bring it and just sit it in the yard, because every yard track is crucial. So it's 10:06 p.m. now. We're getting almost to the point where going to be running out of its time. And what that means is we once 10:15 happens, basically we've caught up to midnight yesterday. So we're right in line. Everything is hunky-dory in Barstow, and I don't think I'm going to set up too much stuff here. Actually, I might even just adjust it off. Take washing breaks, you need to do whatever. Just keep in mind, we don't have any brakes set up for these guys, so you take breaks whenever you get the chance to, basically. And there's always time to take breaks, because you're not humping the entire 24 hours, that's for sure. We've already established that, and as you can see coming up on there's a really good, well, okay, he's going to go down this track, which is fine. Actually, that might work out pretty good if I can get him. All I want to do is get him clear of the switches, and then I'll restore them to normal and relinquish. Even if it's not right at 15 after, that doesn't matter. I don't think I'm going to do any more admin stuff tonight. Set up. I think I might call it. And I know there's other stuff to do. We had at least one other build, but we're not going to get to it tonight, so that's fine. We cleared up the yard, and that was the main thing. So it's important to clear at least these switches only for arriving trains. Other switches doesn't matter, but when you're into an arrival lead, you want to clear off those switches. That way everything's okay there. And then go ahead, relinquish. You don't have to shut down the engines. 24-hour operation. Just gonna take over for the next one. So then there'll be some work for sorting later on. So there we have it. We've got everything set up for our build, which is awesome. Nice big train for Bakersfield. We got some extra relief cars and everything, so that works out good. So yeah, we had 6 minutes to spare. It doesn't matter because we want to adjust that all off now. So again, we started at 9 o'clock. That puts us into 69 minutes, 70, 80, 99. I mean, that's 6 minutes short. Or wait a minute, how the heck were we doing that there? Did I screw up? 95, 85, 75. Yeah, okay, that's good. So I'm 5 minutes short. So what I want to do is bring that down to 30. So 95, 85, 75. So an hour 15 minutes. It's actually an hour 10. I'm going to make it an hour 15. So I go ahead and I edit my response. And then I go ahead with the status to complete. Next. The status part isn't so important for the timing. And even though it is 110, I'm going to put it at 115. And when I submit that, you can see that just dropped to 30. So we're good on that. Trims available, see form post. I will adjust that, but there's nothing else to adjust as far as anything else. The local yard has been sorted. That's the main thing. And here, this is something an admin has to do, so I have to go into the Barstow time and just take out the 75 extra minutes out of here, out of Boron local. So 75, we've already taken 135 out, So when I take 75, that brings it up to minus, or down to minus 210, I guess would be the proper term. And you can see all the various times and what dates are coming up. We're set to go all the way to October 23rd if necessary. Hopefully version 2 will be out there, but now you can see everything's down to 30. So this is open as it says mod on a 2 to 3 crew Barstow for the hump. Trim is available, see the forum post. Really at this point now, yeah, we're back to at least a 2-man crew, but there's no urgency here. We don't want to get too much. You don't want to get humping and not have a trim available to bail yourself out, especially in this situation where that's red. That means that there could be issues there. There are other cars. We still know about San Diego's sitting in VA right now. That's okay because that's around 1700, 1800. That's fine. This one's delayed. We could have done that. In reality, I suppose I should have because it's already late. But that will be cleared up, so he will get like a 1430 or whenever the hump and trim get together, which I don't know what's going to happen. Like basically you guys are going to have to get yourselves together. I know Tuesday I'm not going to be running. Monday I think Mike's out, so I don't know when that'll run. This may run really late. At this point it looks like it might not happen until Thursday if you guys can't get 2 guys together. I'll be around tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be around to do this or not, but I am available. Just if you post your availability, I'm not going to post my availability. I'm just going to basically leave it for others if they want to get together and do this. You know, I did tonight. I did what I had to do here for tonight. This has been available for a while, so, but you know, we're all caught up. There's nothing urgent here anyway, so it's not a big deal. Doesn't get done then, and there's other stuff that I have to keep an eye on as well. So, anyways, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else, so might as well just cut this short and sweet then for now. And I'll just basically, what you do from here is just say, when you're replying to this, so I'm just basically saying the solo trim catch up is complete. There is 30 minutes available right now for a 2 or 3 person crew in Barstow. Not urgent. So yeah, basically I'm explaining my availability. Next time I'll be around with Mike possibly is Thursday, depending on circumstances. And I'll say circumstances because it all depends upon a lot of things. The baseball season, as I've mentioned, you know, Mike and Dave aren't in right now because they're watching I don't know, the 3rd football game of the year or whatever it is. So I guess that's everybody's got their priorities. I got my priorities now. I got Jays. I mean, normally what happens is with the Jays games, throughout the entire season, that's my morning thing. I set it up to record 30-minute replay overnight, just the 30-minute replays. So while I'm eating my breakfast, and tomorrow morning I don't have to worry about that because I've seen the game, I've seen everything, and come Tuesday night I will set my DVR, record it, skip all the commercials and in between the innings, and start watching it at about 9 o'clock. So I might be around Tuesday early on, but I doubt it. I just probably just catch up on some emails and see if version 2 is released or whatever, and then take it from there. So, but then I'm going to be away this coming weekend. So, a lot going on. Now, I don't know if this will reply next time I'll be around. So I'm going to copy this. Just Control C this. And the reason why, like I said, this forum post has been around for a little bit. It's been open for a couple of hours. See how that did that? Perfect. Okay. That's what happens if you have a thread open for a while. In order to resolve that, what you have to do is go in and refresh it, because it never posted. It just disappeared. What happens is if you have a thread open, if you go into a thread and you try to post like after an hour or so, it won't allow it. So see, there's an hour difference, and I was able to go in and update it. So there we go. I've never seen that. You can you can go over there and it actually gives you the actual universal time, I guess that is. I don't know what the hell that is. But whatever. Nothing else is going on Wikia wise. No. Florida's doing their thing, so like I said, Tony's out of town, so that is about it. The matrix doesn't require any more updates. All the instructions are in that forum post for October the 2nd. I close that off and close that off for now. And nobody else is on the network either, so California is dead at the moment. It's kind of odd for a Sunday night, but that's the way it is. So we'll see what happens next Sunday. Wink, wink, but well, I won't be around, that's for sure. I'll be away next Sunday. I don't care what's going on. But that's all that's happened tonight. So comments or questions, just let me know. Talk to you later.